Hello everybody, it's Matt, and it's good to see you again. It's been quite a while since I've done a video. I've just, you know how life gets in the way, busy, haven't really been in the mood and so forth. But I thought I'd do one today because we all know this is Record Store Day, and I hope that everybody that participates in that got to your store okay and got everything on your wish list. Everybody that doesn't care about Record Store Day, I hope you're having a good Saturday and you found something else equally fun to fill your day there. But I went and I got, I think about 6 releases, I believe. So I thought I'd show those. I looked it up because I couldn't remember. The first Record Store Day was 2008. It's hard to believe that it's been that long. Doesn't seem like that long ago. And I did not go to the first one. I remember reading about it or hearing about it. Didn't really know what it was. I did go to the second one in 2009, and I still kind of didn't know what it was. I just went out of curiosity. Pretty much, with the exception of the last few years, I've gone to every Record Store Day and Black Friday Record Store Day since then. There's been 3 or 4 of them over the last 4 or 5 years that I just skipped out on just because wasn't really anything on the list that interested me. So, and I think, after having gone year after year for so many years, you just get a little tired of things or whatever. But when the list came out for this year's edition of 2 or 3 months ago, I was pretty excited. It was one of the better lists of recent years. So, quite an adventure today, and it was trying but fun. So I used to, once I started going to Record Store Day regularly from 2009 or 2010 on, really, initially I was one of those get up, get the list beforehand, sit there and mark down what you want and study the list intently, get up early in the morning and hit the record store at like 4 o'clock in the morning to try to be first in line or the first 10 or whatever, because you don't want what you wanting to get to sell out before you get to it and all that. And so I had several years of showing up at Doc's or Forever Young Records at like 4 in the morning. I remember one year I was second or third in line, but every one of those years I was like, in the 10 or 10 to 20 spot. And crazy, I guess, but I had a lot of fun. I mean, you would run into some of the same people year after year, and people would just sort of hang out and, what are you wanting to get? What are you wanting to get? Talk about music, talk about life in general, just have a fun time. Well, I haven't done that in about 8 years or so, 6, 7, 8 years. And eventually I just got tired of doing that. And I took the attitude of, I'm just going to go let all the people that spend the night at the record store get there at 4 in the morning, let them go through and do their thing. And I'm going to go show up at 1 or 2 o'clock. And if whatever I want is on the list, if it's still in the store, if the store even got it, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. If it's not, I'll live. And that actually worked out pretty well for me because I tended to get not everything, but the majority of the things I wanted by just wait until later in the day when the crowd died down and going to pick up. But like I said, the last few years, there have been, the lists haven't really thrilled me. I'll see maybe 1 or 2 things that I might really want, if that, and then a few things that be nice to have, but if I don't get it, I don't really care, and then a lot of stuff that I don't really care about one way or the other. So, but this year's list was pretty exciting, I thought, when I read it. So I definitely wanted to go. And I was planning to do my regular, just let the crowd go through and die down and show up at 2 or 3 o'clock and see what's left, if anything I want, and if it's not, well, so be it. But last night I thought, I haven't done the get up and go there at 4 in the morning thing in several years. So what the hell, why not? And that's what I did. I got up this morning, jumped in the shower, got dressed, headed up Went to Forever Young Records this time, and I got there just after 5 in the morning. And they usually open at 10, but on Record Store Day days they open at 8, thankfully, so I didn't have to sit around till 10. But I got there about 5:15 or so, and there were already, well, they hand out numbers when you go in, so I was number 43, so there were already 40 something people in line. And it was nice. We were hanging out, talking and having a good time and all that in the dark. Thing is, it's already started to get a little hot here in Texas. Not miserable, crazy hot like it's going to a month from now when we're going to have that 5 months of just 100-degree misery. But it's already started to get in the 80s and lower 90s on some days. I hate the summer. I hate the heat. But last couple of days, it's actually been cloudy and breezy and nice days. Yesterday was really nice. It wasn't cold or cool, but it was breezy and very pleasant. So this morning I got up and, it's still dark. It's cloudy. I was just wearing a short sleeve polo shirt and went out there, got in line, and it was cool and pleasant this morning. It was not raining, but it was kind of misty. So then the temperature goes down, not freezing cold, but it got chilly. Told the guy in front of me, I said, "Hey, can you save? I'm going to run to my car and get a jacket." Got that, and I thought, I better get my umbrella just in case. Good thing I did, because got back in line 5 minutes later, it just started pouring. And it was, there were cars parked right in front of us, and water was like a third up to the wheels on the car and just running all over the parking lot and down the sidewalks. And I was looking around for Noah's Ark, and it was just drenched sheets of water and thunder and lightning, and we're all standing out there with our umbrellas and all. And I had my umbrella, and the wind blows, the umbrella turns inside out, and I reach up and pull it down, and then the handle snaps, and the umbrella falls over. So half the handle's gone, so I've got about that much of an umbrella handle, and I'm holding that in this pouring rain. And thankfully, it said they opened at 8 for Record Store Day. About 7:30, they opened the door and let as many of us as could get into the building, so we weren't standing out in the pouring rain. But we just had to stand around until they started letting people go through the record. They have their section of Record Store Day records, and then they got the rest of their store with all the regular records and CDs. And the record store part is roped off, so you couldn't go over there. But good to be inside. It was fun though. Everybody was soaking wet and in the store and cutting up and talking to each other. So they handed out numbers and let people go through 5 at a time, and they've got a long row of Record Store Day records, and then you turn and there's another on the other side of the row. And they had a whole bunch of stuff. I was looking last night at their Facebook page, and they had a list of most of the stuff they got in. So I didn't know what they got numbers or whatever. That's why I wanted to go early, because there were some things I wanted to get. I want to make sure. I didn't know if they're got 2 copies or whatever, but they got plenty of copies of everything I wanted. So that didn't turn out to be a problem. But yeah, soaking wet, broken umbrella that I couldn't close, so I just left it outside. And then when I got out after buying my records and got to the car, I couldn't close the thing because it had snapped in half, and so I just ended up leaving it in the parking lot. And anyway, so yeah, let's get on to the records that I bought, since I've talked for 30 minutes about pretty much nothing anybody cares about. This one I debated. I wasn't really going to get this at first, but so this came out today on this special edition for Record Store Day. The actual release, the general release, isn't until later, about a month from now, around May 20th, 29th or so. And I thought, I want it. I've got all the other Ringo EPs so far, the other 4 or 5, or how many he's put out so far. But I thought, I'll just wait till May 29th because I'm sure the Record Store Day version is going to be marked up a lot higher than the regular release would be. But I checked on Amazon and they don't have this available for pre-sale yet, or at least they didn't the other day. But I get emails from the Fest for Beatle fans. They send an email out every day, it seems like. And they've got pre-sales on just the regular black vinyl edition and the CD coming out later in May. And they're charging $22 for it. So when I went in the record store, I saw this and it was $29, so $7 more. But it's the exclusive and it's on the colored vinyl. And I thought, I get it a month early and I get the colored vinyl and I get the limited edition, blah, blah, blah. So $29 is a lot of money for this, but what the hell. So I went ahead and picked it up. And when it finally does go on Amazon for pre-sale, I'm sure they're going to be selling it for like $15 or $16, but whatever. So I've heard February Sky, of course, which has already been put out on YouTube and so forth. I really like that song. Haven't had a chance to play any of these records yet, so I haven't heard the other 3 songs. Looking forward to it. Love the cover. I think that's a really cool picture. I'm guessing that's from when the Beatles played the second Ed Sullivan Show down in Miami in '64, maybe. That's what that's from. But there's the back. It's not numbered, but here is the inner sleeve, which is just a recreation of the front cover, and it's got the lyrics to the songs. And the vinyl is kind of a black vinyl with white. And I've seen some other people that have already shown these, and it varies because I've seen some that have a whole lot of white splatter. Excuse me. And I've seen some like mine that don't have a whole lot. But it's a cool thing to get, and I am looking forward to listening to this and finding out what the other 3 songs sound like. The second thing, and I really debated on this, I wasn't going to get this because the Mind Games box set is coming out here in a couple of months or whenever, and we'll be getting that. So I'm thinking that the songs, and there are 4 songs on here, and you can see they're remixes, with the exception of You Are Here as an outtake, but the other 3 are just remixes or ultimate mixes. So I'm thinking all of this stuff is probably going to be on the box set that I'll be buying here in a couple of months. So probably this is just a waste of money. And this damn thing was $39, which is ridiculous, but there you go. I picked this up when I was going through the line, and I thought, as I went through the line to look at the rest of the records, I thought 4 or 5 times almost put it back. When I got up to the counter to pay, I was going to tell the clerk, to just take the John album out of there. But in the end, I bought it. So, and maybe these will be things that are not on the box set, which, I could live without them even if so. But anyway, I'm the proud owner of it now. And they've got a black vinyl version, and they've got the glow-in-the-dark version, which kind of looks milky or white here on the picture, I think, but it's sort of a milky green, pale green, and it does in fact glow in the dark. I already held it up to the light and walked into the bathroom and shut the door and turned the light off, and glows in the dark, so that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to hearing this, but probably that was a waste of money on my part, and I should have just waited for the box set. But here's another one that was probably a waste of money, but I guess I'm glad I got it. The Wonderwall picture disc, which they also, had a picture disc for electronic sound. The only reason I bought this is, I love the Wonderwall album. It's a great album. It's one of my favorite George albums. Probably in the top 4 or 5 of my favorite albums of his. It's a Zoetrope edition picture disc. Not really sure what that is, but there is the picture that was you can see through the sleeve, and I was thinking or hoping that, because you obviously couldn't see the back of it, I was thinking that the back side of it had a picture disc of this, because again, I always loved that cover. I love the album. This is one of my favorite, might be my favorite solo Beatle album cover. I just always liked it. But alas, the back side, there's the front that you can see. You can see the little Wonderwall man that's standing on the one side of the brick wall, and there's the back side. So I guess when you play the record, it spins, and you can sit there and stare at the record and be what David Letterman used to say, hypnotized, and just feel trippy or something, or psychedelic. I don't know. I've got a couple of copies of the regular album on black vinyl from Pad Forever, and I listen to them fairly often. I don't know that I'll ever actually put this on the turntable and play it, but I guess it's kind of cool to have. And it does have the book that came in the original Wonderwall set. That I have a American edition. I have a Japanese edition, so it's nice to have the little booklet. I also like the cover of Electronic Sound, for that matter. The album is junk, but I had considered getting that just to see if that had the cover picture on the other side of the picture disc, but I'm glad I didn't now, because I'm not sure what it has on it. But anyway, so that is the extent of my Beatles stuff. I was hoping they would have had the turntable with the little 3-inch Beatle picture sleeve 45 things. I wasn't going to buy it, most likely, because I figured they're probably charging $150 to $200 for that thing. But I think it's kind of neat looking, and I would like to at least have seen one in person, but they didn't get any of them. So, and there were several other albums that I looked at and considered, but they just cost too damn much. There was a Doors live album that was like $50. There was Art Tatum live from 1953, and it was like $75. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe 1966 live concert, and it was $60 or something like that. Several other things that and I looked at the Linda Ronstadt box, and that thing's $100 for the 4 albums in there. That you can go to any used record store and find those records for like $5 to $10 a piece. So I definitely wasn't going to buy that. But so anyway, another one, Captain Beefheart. The last few record store days, I think the last 3 or 4, he's had something out, and they've been kind of re-releasing his albums with extra, the album plus a disc of outtakes and unreleased and so forth and so on. So this is one of his records that I'd never had. I've heard some of the songs off of here, and it's just kind of an impulse buy. I thought, I've never had this one. I haven't heard all the songs here, so what the hell, I'll go ahead and pick it up. Kind of looking forward to hearing that. Double album set. There's the hype sticker. I was going to take it off and stick it on the album sleeve, but it wouldn't come off the plastic without tearing the sticker, so I'm just going to stick it in there in the album sleeve. And it's Spotlight Kid on clear vinyl, and the other second album is clear vinyl just as well as that. So that was kind of an impulse buy. Looking forward to listening to that. These last 2 are things that I was really looking forward to. And other than the Beatles thing, the Beatles little 3-inch records that I wasn't going to buy anyway, but I would have liked to have seen, everything that I wanted they had at the store, so I lucked out there. There wasn't anything that I was looking for that they didn't get or had sold out. This is one I really wanted. Gene Clark, No Other, and so Gene Clark, of course, was in the Byrds. Went on to do some other stuff with other groups and solo records. Sadly, he's passed away now. No Other this is the 50th anniversary. It came out in 1974. just a masterpiece, brilliant, great album that unfortunately didn't get a much or any airplay or promotion. Got high critical reviews across the board when it came out, but just didn't get much notice and sank without a trace, which is a shame. It's a brilliant album. It's had this gotten radio play and promotion, I think this would be one of the the landmark albums of the 70s that everybody would remember, up there with all the other 70s albums that are huge. But this is not the actual album. This is outtakes and demos and early takes on the songs on the album. So I'm not sure how exciting that's going to be. It might be one of those play it once or twice and it's kind of interesting to hear and then never play it again. But I'm looking forward to hearing it. I wish they would have included the actual album in here as well as the demos. That would have been pretty cool. But just great album. If you've never heard this, it's just country rock, it's pop, it's kind of soul, it's rock and roll, just good, solid singing, musicianship, and songwriting. Just an incredible, great album. So check out Gene Clark No Other, the actual album. But it's nice to have this outtakes and demos. So I was kind of looking forward to picking that up. And the one on the list that I wanted to get most of all that caught my attention, and I was glad they had a ton of copies, so I was afraid they might only have one or two and I wouldn't be able to get it. Osmium, if that's how you pronounce it, I never have known for sure. The first Parliament album from 1970, their debut album, which was also the year that the first Funkadelic album came out, which was just titled Funkadelic. And Parliament and Funkadelic are more or less the same group, somewhat. So just, if you love funk music and soul music and Jimi Hendrix and Sly and the Family Stone, this Parliament and those first 5 or 6 Funkadelic albums are just essential and landmark releases and just pure greatness. And beautiful rock and roll and soul and funk all rolled into one. So Parliaments actually went back to the 50s with George Clinton, kind of as a doo-wop group. In the 60s, they got involved with Motown and put out at least 145, maybe a couple. They never put out an album for Motown. They didn't really fit in with Motown. So once Clinton got free of Motown, he went and started with Parliament and Funkadelic. The reason you got a Parliament album in 1970 and you don't have another one until like 1974 is, I think, probably have this wrong, but Motown owned the rights to the name and he got in trouble for using Parliament. That's why he went to Funkadelic and worked that out later. And so you have Parliament and Funkadelic albums and so forth and so on. Anyway, so this is the original album and then another disc of like non-album singles and B-sides and some outtakes and some unreleased stuff. That's the original cover there, and there's the back cover. Inside you've got lyrics. There's the hype sticker that I took off and stuck on there, and then you've got this kind of nice, just some information about the band and a picture. And then some pictures of the original album, the 45s from it. And the album, both of them, are on, I don't know what that is, kind of a light pea green vinyl. But another great album, just a 10 out of 10 album. So I'm looking forward to listening to that again, even though I've got another copy of that, but I'm looking forward to listening to the extra stuff. So that's my record store day adventure. I soaking wet and got up early. I had a good time and I got what I wanted, and hope you all did too. And we will talk to you guys soon. Take care.